All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Demon Slayer, Season 1, Episode 22.
All right, roll call. What do we got?
We got Orange Sherbet. We got Spumoni.
Yep.
We got Licorice. We got Rocky Road. And little boy, we call him Chipmint.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Don't worry, that's not actually what we'll be calling them.
Yes.
But it just seems like you could probably sort them by design-wise and maybe personality-wise, too, into ice creams.
Yeah. I think that these ice creams, you probably know who we're talking about. We're talking about the Hashira.
Exactly.
And you probably could pretty easily identify which ones
there
are
might be
which,
one or two where it's, a little like, wait, which one is that? But yeah.
Yeah, that's why I specified the little boy be Chipmint.
Yep, exactly.
Also, I'm potentially wrong gender-wise, though, so be careful about that. But yeah, because we're just meeting these characters for the first time, and yet they do have some very iconic, colorful designs.
They do have wonderful designs.
Just thinking about them before starting the recording, we were like, oh yeah. I got all five of them.
Yep. Yeah. Now here's the thing.
We already know about Shinobu and
right, definitely, and Gyu. Yeah. Who may or may not be a Hashira because he wasn't in the picture, but like
Oh no. I believe I'm pretty sure he's
they said that
Hashira
before.
because the two of them were sent out as Hashira.
Yes.
Back earlier,
but here we have a situation.
Yes,
you might call it because Nezuko exists and they brought them in alive, and thankfully,
and she's in the den of like the best demon slayers out there. So when it comes to opportunities and unique circumstances, how pragmatic are these demon slayers?
And we aren't exactly going to be able to have any sort of rescue arc if we do need it because Tanjiro is already there. So
yeah, that's a good point. And I don't think they're going to do the whole thing of where we gathered all the main characters together and we time skipped to when they're all healed up a little bit, so they're going to bust themselves out. No.
I mean, no, they could do that, but
I didn't get that vibe with what they threw Tanjiro into the mix of everything there.
Given that these are the Hashiras, that's kind of a big deal. So we gotta hope for leniency and that they ask questions rather than just giving Shinobu free reign to do her thing.
Classic Nichiren greeting.
Yep.
Yeah. Although what I'm really excited for specifically is this feels like we're getting basically the Karasuno of the Demon Slayers, where we're going to love two of these characters no matter what.
And we'll probably hate two of them in a good way.
Or, we can count Shinobu potentially as one of them.
Oh yeah, Shinobu might be one of those.
But I think if anything, actually, I think I'm going to love almost all of them. It's just going to be easier for me to like certain ones quickly because that's usually how it is in group dynamics. You have one or two people that are like the blustering, obviously like good, like natured, person and stuff. So
and will we become a bit more accustomed to Shinobu once we see her in her element with her peers?
I think we will,
because we could realize that she's actually not that weird as far as the rest of the Hashiras are concerned.
Right,
but I don't know.
I would say what we're probably going to get is a bunch of people who are all killers, and it's the knowledge that they're all killers, and yet they have something that is like their... I keep that. I keep that under wraps. How do you do it? Well, and then their story,
Right.
Insert story here. Yeah. So, I'm excited. Let's meet some colorful characters, y'all. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. All right, everyone, now be sure to go check out the reaction portion of the video in the description below, and then come back here for the discussion. All right, we met the Hashira.
We have.
And in some ways, Shinobu is the most sane out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I kind of like that twist because the big one I think that we were expecting to be kind of in some ways like goodest boy was the Flame Hashira Kyojuro, because he has this like eyebrows and I'm here.
I'm high energy.
High energy, Right.
And
like, you might as well call me like Flame Bokuto because like I'm I'm here,
And he definitely channeled that energy, but you need to die.
He's like, no, you should die. Like that's it doesn't make sense. It is. Let's why are we wasting our time? It's not
rules
like we
say to burn you, and burning through rules will burn.
Yeah. So we have Gyu and Shinobu that we've met before, and in this case, Gyu and Shinobu both at different points stood up for for the people that were being antagonized at the specific point. In a lot of ways, Shinobu is more standing up for Gyu in the specific moment there because of them throwing some shade his way.
Yeah.
But then we end up getting into this idea of, there's someone that they all serve.
Right.
Who's not a Hashira. Once we ended up seeing finally all 9 of them.
Yeah.
Because that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So we have kind of the Soul Society, captains, what have you, and then we have their overseer of sorts, who's a very, very interesting design character. I'm really excited about him.
But they're all very much characterized, all very much badass, and I hate them. No, specifically the wind one.
Sanemi.
Because I get that demons and they're demon slayers and they're the best demon slayers. So when they see a demon, they slay the demon because that's what they do. They're the Hashiras, right?
Right. They've been rewarded for the skill they have at killing.
Yep.
That is, as far as we know, the only thing that makes them worthy of being a Hashira.
And yet, at the same time, they were tasked with bringing in Tanjiro and Nezuko in alive. So
now that is not something that all of them were privy to. That's something that's good to bring up, though. No. None of them were there except Shinobu and Gyu. So none of the other ones know anything other than this is a meeting that we were all called to come for.
Sure.
This is something I almost knew you were going to bring up, so I probably should have mentioned it earlier. But they were all called here for a Hashira meeting.
That's true.
This is not having to do with their reason for coming here.
Yeah.
They don't care about a random Demon Slayer incident or what have you.
That is a great point. Now Shinobu could have said, we were specifically told to bring it in alive, and that's why she's still alive. Otherwise, I personally would have killed her by now, right? But
but who cares? The big thing here is that the main leader gets so much respect from them in this case that he's basically like, this is the way things are going to go.
Yep.
But he's also the kind of leader where, as long as his word is followed, within terms of like technicalities, applying in this case here, he's not going to stop them from doing what they're doing as long as they're, staying on, towing the line,
Right.
Which is basically what Sanemi or Shinazugawa is.
Right.
He's the guy that basically is... I've been hurt. I've got scars. I literally am basically the wounded creature that's running around yelling at things and being like,
And there definitely isn't any pointed poetic aspects to the fact that immediately upon seeing the demon, he then gives himself a new scar in order to hold to his ideals of hatred and wanting to exterminate them. That definitely doesn't have any relevance.
Right. No, definitely not. Definitely not. There was some specific aspect of every Hashira that was called to focus here. One kind of key thing.
Yeah.
I think what we are actually meant to get with Shinobu is that her killer instinct is not unique. That is something that all of them share.
Right.
What she actually has that's unique is her ridiculously unnatural calmness. She actually has this ability to just float like a butterfly.
She does it without bias or prejudice kind of thing. Yeah.
Right. So in that way, she's actually one of the safest for Nezuko, because if she just goes by the facts, she's like, I have no reason. Nezuko should be my friend, actually. Like her whole thing of like, do you want to be friends? She would extend that to Nezuko. Right. And it would actually be helpful in this case here.
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah. What are the other ones? So Gyu, no one likes. I feel like he's the punching bag of the group, if anything. Like the underdog, just poor boy. No wonder he was running around alone, in the very beginning of the show.
Now, see, I think it's actually that they're jealous because he's featured a bit more prominently in the OP.
See,
and they're like
meta knowledge.
That just doesn't sit right with them. They're like, no, this is an awesome OP. I want to be front and center when we're displayed.
Right. The thing is, though, is that's why the Muichiro, he's the only one that doesn't seem to care about that because he forgot about the fourth wall breaking nature of the show. Of course. Yeah.
Definitely.
So Kyojiro, Flame Hashira, he seems to be the one that's like, I speak my mind.
Yeah. And
I don't drag it on. I just this is what it is.
And
matter of fact.
And in a lot of ways that he also seems, because I like the whole idea
he's
of
like blunt, basically.
Yeah, he's blunt, right?
Yeah.
With fire, I almost assumed that there would, because fire spreads, right? You know, so there would be this, there's usually this connotation with fire that it can be kind of uncontrolled, right? But instead they did that for the wind, which was really cool. Of the wind sort of just, it goes everywhere. So of course it would be wild and chaotic, right? And then for the fire person, he burns bright and hot, you know.
He demands your attention.
He demands your attention.
Yes.
He tells you exactly and quickly, right?
Right.
I don't agree.
Right?
I don't agree.
Basically, I respect you, Master. Yeah. But I don't agree with this.
But I don't agree.
My favorite one thus far, Tengen. Sorry, not Tengen. Gyome.
Yeah.
Gyome. The stone Hashira. He has basically a very empathetic kind of look at things there. And yet he very much holds to the fact that he's a killer. So his seems the most contradictory of everyone's. Shinobu's was quite contradictory, but now I'm looking at all of them and I'm like, well, actually, in some ways, the Stone Hashira, just saying, remembering all the names is going to be tricky, but Gyome, I feel like his is born from some very interesting perspectives.
Because he didn't just say, I disagree, I think that the demon has to die.
Right.
He said, this is
so
why.
sad.
Alexa,
play Despacito. No, like it'd be better if you were never born, Tanjiro, basically. Right. Like the suffering that you will have to endure. It was almost like a prophecy. And that will be so much that
and that's the thing that makes me like Gyome a lot, because to have someone just be like, nah, you need your little sister needs to die. So what if she hasn't eaten somebody in 2 years and all that stuff? You know, she needs to die, right? If it's someone that's coming from I understand this is awful, but you realize this needs to happen, that's a lot easier to at least stomach the fact. I mean, the lack of stabbing also helps, but
in some ways, I would say actually Gyome seems the one that didn't seem to understand as much, as more that he was like, I'm so sorry, but she has to die. Yeah. You know, and it'd be better if you were never born. It's like I feel like if anything, it's somewhat actually more unsettling than feeling like he understands. It's more of just like my sympathies. My heart goes out to my brother.
Great point. And that is a great contrast for the super big guy with the veiny muscles and everything.
Exactly.
And
we have Mitsuri, who was kind of the internal kind of reader of the group, who was constantly giving like commentary whenever she would see a specific person kind of doing their thing. Primarily the ones she was attracted to on a physical level, that being Gyu and Sanemi, particularly.
There was a part of me that was wondering if they were going to build up the whole nobody likes Gyu thing by like her being all like, yes, I basically have a crush on everybody. But then she goes to Gyu and she's like, nah, Gyu.
No, that would be too cruel. I think more that the love Hashira is that she, in some ways that all the other demon slayers have their own specific quirk. Hers is another one that kind of contradicts the killer dynamic in that I still love beings. I still love people. Right. So I'm finding ways to love people despite who they are.
Right.
You know,
she kills demons by snoo.
Oh geez. But so then we get to kind of the ones that I would say were kind of more simply characterized, very, very simple. We have Muichiro, who is an amnesiac.
Yep.
Miss Hashira.
Go. He missed what was going on.
Yeah.
No. I'm sure so many people make that joke.
He never missed, huh?
Yeah. You will be missed.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, you won't.
No, he's never missed. Unless he is missed, and then those dumb puns have probably been done to death already. But Iguro. Okay, so we have a serpent. Hashira. In some ways, it's one of the ones that doesn't really fit the kind of the aesthetic of them all, kind of like Shinobu's with being insects. So okay. All right. It's probably more to do with their forms that they use with their swords and stuff like that. So I'm like, serpent, that actually seems like a form that I'm pretty excited to see. However, his character was the one that was the loner, was isolated from the group, and that's about all I got. Right. So there's an element of distrust regarding his character.
If anything, there was an element of almost like sort of a not malevolence, but
yeah, definitely not malevolence.
Definitely not malevolence. But the antagonism that he displayed was a lot kind of colder.
Ooh, like, it was like analyzing threats.
Sure,
it's, an animal in the wild, basically like, I'm sizing you up. Are you a threat?
Exactly.
Tasting the air,
like because with Sanemi, it was very, weirdly enough, it was hot. It was it was blustering. It was a storm, right?
Right.
Whereas with Iguro, it was
just calculating.
Yeah, it was just sort of like, just sort of sitting there, slithering,
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like in that respect, Iguro is one of the ones that I will probably end up being able to rely on to be decent to Nezuko. Like you said, no malevolence. The act of saying, like, well, I don't trust her is actually one of the more positive responses we got regarding the Master's decision, opposed to most of the Hashiras who had kind of a no, I'm not for this. Right, there was only really like only really like two that were kind of in on the decision, and it's like, I think I'd be okay with this.
Because anytime I feel like that they actually go to give a reason for why they don't like Nezuko, then that's a good place, because Nezuko is Nezuko. She's adorable and wonderful, and she hasn't killed anybody, right? So the idea of I don't trust you, it's like, that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
Why would you? We're not asking you. We're not asking for you to trust us. Just don't kill us. Please don't kill us.
If anything, like, you don't even have to work with Tanjiro.
Right,
like,
exactly.
Let's be real, you guys are probably going to get sent like within an episode or two on the trail of Muzan, who is probably like think about it this way. Let's get to Sanemi actually before we get into Muzan talk. But Sanemi, I can already kind of tell what they're doing with this character. Whenever you introduce basically what I would call the discount Zuko character, I'll just go with this here.
Okay.
We had a bunch of scars in this episode, but it was something that kind of reminded me a little bit of the scar with Tanjiro.
Sure.
Is that scars are something that are very much apparent as a demon slayer trait, because demons heal.
Yes.
So their scars are internal. You are not going to see them. But just because they don't carry scars doesn't mean they don't carry feelings, pain, emotion, memories, experiences, all that.
Exactly.
This is the most, simple but painful example of what can happen when a demon slayer has just been through too much.
Yeah.
So, Sanemi, I get what they're doing with you.
Yep.
You're extremely unlikable right now.
Oh, yeah.
But you're probably going to get a backstory at some point where we're going to realize how much you actually lost.
It's going to be real tragic and everything.
And those scars, I don't like him either. But those scars, those aren't all self-inflicted.
Right.
And yet, more than one of them are.
Yeah, this is not the first time that he's done this. Maybe not this exact circumstance for it.
Right,
but yeah.
I want to get the kind of the equivalent vibe of and it's weird, I think I'm just more of hodgepodging this in my mind because this is a dumb theory, but because there was an amnesiac in the group, there's a movie, a story where there's a character who constantly has to tattoo themselves to remind themselves about killer
stuff.
About stuff. I don't want to go into spoilers here, but it's a very good movie. But that dynamic with self-inflicting injury showcases something immediate within the context of a character there. When a character, in this case, easily goes into self-harm, like, quickly.
Yeah.
And it's an obvious reason as to why. He's like, I'm going to antagonize Nezuko or incite Nezuko to violence by just, you want this juice, right? You want this, you want this blood. Here you go. Makes sense. It's not a vital wound or what have you, but it's, he could have cut anywhere, like, it just gave me that really, like, sad vibe of, oh, buddy, yeah, I can't see it now, but I can see where it's going.
Well, right, because you can see the pain that what he's doing is coming from a place of pain and brokenness, right? And then in order to try and deal with that, he adds to his own pain and brokenness.
Right. It's like it's circular, and cyclical. It basically showcases that while we're trying to be introduced to the Hashira as badasses, we are also getting introduced to 9 very broken people. just very like very messed up people. Like they're all basically have their own level of brokenness, and I want to put out the vibe there that specifically the counter theme to their setup here is what Tanjiro said. If you can't tell the difference between a good demon and a bad demon, then
you shouldn't be Hashira.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think to them, that's a thing of like, wait, what is a good demon?
Yeah, that's an oxymoron.
The only good demon is a dead demon, you know?
Like I would really love to see. I don't necessarily. I mean, who knows what they're going to do, right?
Right.
But I would love to see something where we get into something where maybe one of them, like say Sanemi, maybe had a story very similar to Tanjiro.
Oh yeah,
but the sister didn't stop.
No, right, and he probably had to chop up.
Like we know that Gyu at least had a story that was somewhat similar. I think.
Something
like he mentioned
similar.
that there were some similarities with something. I don't remember whether it was him or someone he knew, but so that way it's not just something of, we kill demons and your sister's a demon, but no, it can't work. Because otherwise, then why didn't it for me? Why didn't it for that person that I knew that turns into a demon? And as much as I begged and pleaded and wept, they just went killing.
Yep. You can do the inverse or the reverse, if you will, of the Yoda speech, and you can end up finding out where hatred comes from very easily. Just reverse it. That's where it comes.
Right.
Hatred came from anger. Anger came from fear.
Yeah. And by the way, if you've got hatred, then that means you're already here, or you're going to be soon. But suffering.
Yeah.
And suffering.
What do you know? Living picture of the dark side here.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
Yep. Urukadaki coming in clutch was awesome.
Urukadaki, yes.
That was.
I want to know though.
Yeah.
Is he stalking Tanjiro? Is he getting... No, he has to be getting messages through the crow or something.
He could have been getting messages through the crow, but I believe also something where the amount of time that they've actually spent on the road has not been that long.
Oh,
because they spent like 2 years training.
No, it was the training amount of time. So he's only speaking about that amount.
Right.
That's right. But the idea that he said she has not, attacked or killed any humans in that time... That's a lot of faith. Now, it's the letter's helpful either way. It's coming from a former Hashira, so they respect it. However, what I liked about this was it wasn't actually respected by the Hashira. It was the judgment from the master regarding the letter that the Hashira respected.
Right, which is interesting because that shows that they're
not fully unified.
They're not fully unified.
Hashira only group.
And that they don't really seem to have much maybe mutual respect for each other. It's just, we're all killing demons, but if someone says something that we don't like, or if one person says like, oh yeah, no, I'm like, trust me on this, I was a bit closer to the situation, and this is what it actually is, like in the case of Gyu, even though he didn't volunteer his own seppuku, he didn't contradict it when it was stated, when it was offered, voluntold sort of, but they didn't care, so something where they probably very much are only concerned with the actual ability to kill demons, not in much beyond that.
I could definitely see them having skills that lead up to the killing of demons, like hunting and tracking and stuff like that. But I'm getting that vibe as well, that they have a team dynamic for sure, because they've had to work together. But it's in the same amount that a professional one would. In some ways, I feel like we're hearkening back already to what we set up a little bit thematically with the idea of Rui, talking about forged family bonds and stuff, and the idea that this one is bonded around the idea of, killing something together.
Well, or rather just strength, right? Which, if you think about it, that... So, given that, what differentiates you from the 12 Kizuki?
Yep.
There's 3 less of you, and you don't kill humans, you kill demons.
Yeah, but other than that...
exactly the same.
Probably exactly the same. I think the main thing is that we haven't met more than one of the Kizuki at this point.
Right, we met one ex-Kizuki and one actual Kizuki.
In some ways, it would be a cool twist, though, to have the point when we meet more of the 12 Kizuki. It's a thing of like... Yeah, they're monsters, but they're also, there's also some humanity somewhere in each one of them. And these ones, they're all humans, but there's a little bit of monster inside all of them. And a lot inside of more, for sure. So that's gonna be interesting. Big thing that got their murder boners all propped up and erect was Muzan mentioned.
Yes,
so
that's right.
I like, though, that they all know of Muzan, of course, but not only that, they have never encountered Muzan in their lives, ever. Oh my god, that builds up so much potential regarding his character in that he is an ancient being. Of course, his whole thing is hide.
Yeah.
Why would I go after these crazy bastards with kill me in one hit swords,
Right. There are old swordsmen and bold swordsmen.
Yes.
There are old demons and bold demons. There are no old bold demons. It just doesn't. Those don't cross very well.
It works so well here, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
The idea that Tanjiro encountering him back then was such a rare thing, not only for Muzan as like what are you doing here? It wasn't something of we have some agreement. It's all like, my hiding was flawless. Like, how?
This is my fourth family.
He sees the earrings or what have you, and he's just triggered, Right. So it's like, okay. Okay. Let's build up this whole thing with the Hashira then going on the hunt.
Yeah.
And it being a thing where it's like, okay, what does that look like now with Muzan responding to that,
There is a part of me that now so okay, so with Sanemi, right? He stabbed Nezuko without much prompting, right? It was just like, oh, hey, here's a demon, slice or stab, poke. But then once he found out about the Muzan thing, that was when he decided to start testing Nezuko. Now, one of the things that doesn't. The order doesn't really matter too much because I would expect that he would try and do something like that anyways, given that that's what we've seen. I think he's the kind of person who would have done that anyways.
I think it was primarily because they will be allowed to kill Nezuko and Tanjiro and Gyu. That they all die if it's just antagonizing her to get what he wants out of this.
But there was a part of me that wondered if that was somehow tied to the fact that he was humiliated by Tanjiro with the headbutt.
I feel like that was just him slamming his face into the concrete.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
I'm not really. I'm not really following with the timing aspect of it because it felt like it was very directly. Oh, that's your judgment master. Okay, then you're fine with me doing this, and then he goes and antagonizes Nezuko.
Man, as far as ways to like, they say if you want to make an audience like a character, make them pet a puppy, and if you want to make them hate a character,
have them kick a puppy. Yep.
But this is
some next level kicking.
This is some couple next levels
kicking little cute things.
Yeah, but instead stabbing and
stabbing.
Yeah, because why not?
Let's bring this up here. That's actually like this is something that as a storyteller, you're choosing this very intentionally here because we can't view the Demon Slayers or the Hashira anymore without the contamination of Sanemi now.
Right. Yeah,
regardless of what his past is or what have you, he tortured Nezuko.
Yep.
He is continuing to torture her.
Like in stories, there are certain things that having characters do make it tough to sort of shift audience perspective on later.
Later, yeah.
And torture is one of the biggest ones.
Torture is one of the biggest ones.
One of the biggest ones, probably the biggest kind of acceptable one.
Gotcha. Right. On the acceptable range, it is very far onto the acceptable thing. So it's especially given that this episode kind of didn't really end with that whole situation resolved.
Right, which okay. This is it's just
so Jacob, if you were a Hashira, what would be your
karma?
Yeah. All right. Yep. All right. I gotcha.
No, ituld be armor. Like what? It'd
armor
or steel or something. Sure. Something like that. What would yours be?
I have no idea. That's what I was thinking about it.
The frisbee. No. Yeah, I don't know what mine would actually be. Like they've taken most of the elements. Like
they've taken all the elements. Like
they haven't taken lightning.
You're
They haven't taken
right.
lightning.
You're right. They
You know,
haven't taken lightning.
So you know, because the thing is that they covered all the basic elements, and then they started getting a bit more creative with them, right? You know, like, okay, let's expand a little bit. You know, with some that are more directly elements, and then some that are less elements. But like,
sound is an interesting one.
Yeah, sound's an interesting one. The fact that was the one that looked most Naruto, and it's the sound one that was interesting.
We completely skipped Tengen in describing the Hashira.
Oh yeah, that's right. So
Max Flamboyance. I cannot believe we skipped. Wow.
Well,
okay.
Clearly he wasn't flamboyant enough because, you know.
That's actually a great point.
Like
his flamboyance was something in speech.
Not indeed. Yeah.
So
I will say, yeah, Tengen, you gotta step up. You
gotta step it up a bit.
Yeah. You don't just say that you will be the most flamboyant. Put it on display for everyone so that they cannot deny.
You don't need to, but if you want us to believe you are the Max Flamboyance character,
Indeed.
I mean, at this point, in some ways, I would say Rengoku kind of has you beat, like just a little bit, just in terms of raw energy.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay, so this is our setup here. Nezuko,
good luck, girl.
Good luck.
Oh boy,
this is gonna be fun.
And Tanjiro, ready your forehead.
So y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can talk with Jacob about the sci-fi novel that he wrote.
Yep, I wrote a sci-fi novel. Battle Lines. You know what it's about. It's awesome. It's cool. It's on Amazon. Link in the description. Go check it out.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.